Just go. You're okay. Go. Okay, you can't be stuck at the front door because you can't walk on the snow. Let's go. Come on.
Could have said something to ease the pain. Just a few words would have made a happy home again. We were dangling, about to fall. Every wall could tell a story. Every hallway calls your name. All the joy and pain, I'm sorry, I'm waiting for it.
I'm Margot, and I've got 3 children. Rebecca, 13 almost, Zachary, 11, and Isaac, 4.5. Zachary was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when he was 8.5. We already turned that. Our son Isaac was diagnosed a year ago. There's a very large scale. Profound autism is on one side and Asperger's is on the other. There's great controversy around whether or not high-functioning autism and Asperger's are actually one and the same. The difference being that with Asperger's you will always have at least an average intelligence, more often than not gifted. But it's the social interaction or the communication that doesn't work, that breaks down. You might want to say to them, get over it. It's only a piece of bread, it's only a pencil, it's only this. It becomes an obsessive issue, and that in itself, again, is what Asperger's is. Okay, you do it. You go.
I'm Zach's stepdad and Rebecca's stepdad, and Isaac. We had Isaac together, me and Margot, and we're trying to make one big happy family. We have a lot of differences.
When I first met Charles, we hadn't had a diagnosis yet of Zachary as to what his difficulties were a result of. I knew there was something wrong or something going on. Charles, on the other hand, really didn't believe that there was anything apart from some, very lax parenting.
I guess Zach was 4 when I first met him. He was just out of diapers. He was out of diapers and I was thinking, well, why would a 4-year-old need therapy for? He's just a child, a kid. Let him be a kid.
I just want to go outside for a minute.
I don't care, Mom.
Okay, so don't.
I don't freaking care, okay? You said! No! I scream, I bang, I throw stuff, put holes in the walls. Here's the hole in the table, and there's that hole down there. That was with a sledgehammer. I broke a lot of this stuff. Oops. I didn't do that. I was really angry and I was punching my bag, and I punched it so hard it came off the hook and it fell. So then I didn't know what to do for a minute, so I just swung myself like this and I yelled. I said, "Oh."
We keep it very quiet. We don't, advertise that our kids have Asperger's when we go out. It's almost, I guess, as you would say, a bit of a secret in a sense that we keep it that way because it's just absolutely too complex and too long to try and explain to people.
I hate that freely subject.
No, you're not to swear.
I hate it.
Okay, you can tell me you hate it, but you can't swear. Given how hard we work, it's crushing to think that people would think we're bad parents, especially when it comes from family members. There you go, that's a better choice of a word. So you don't...
So pretty.
And I think, you know what? You come here and live here just a week. Just come and live here for a week, and then you tell me I'm a bad parent after that. Of course, no one has ever offered to come and live here for a week. So I think, in the back of their minds, they kind of think, ooh, I don't want to go there, because what if they're not bad parents, and what if it really is real? But we better say they are, because, well, our kids don't act like that, and we come from the same, the same mindset. So, yeah, it'd be nice if someone would come and take over for a bit and just see exactly, how it is. If our kids had something that was a visible disability, like Tourette's or Down syndrome, which is much more widely accepted and known, people can automatically look, and when they look, their attitude changes. Oh, they're all of a sudden much more, understanding and patient, a bit condescending sometimes, but you'd rather that than our kids that go out, have a meltdown, seemingly neurotypical kids, they look, And people are looking at you again like you're monsters.
Made it through another day.
Another day.
I
Another
wouldn't
suck.
say that
Another suck.
my mother ever blamed Charlie or I as parents per se. I think it was very difficult for her to admit that her grandchildren had difficulties.
Good going, Mom.
The only thing I can't abide is rudeness and bad manners. I can take everything else but those two things.
If we just gave him more discipline, if we just were stricter, if we just were this or that, or just consistent, yes.
Consistent with your discipline, which you weren't. I really did think it was lack of discipline, lack of being consistent, being a softie, giving in. Yeah, totally I believe that.
Some days I'm like Booby. I do believe that he has Asperger's, but other days I believe that you can cure that. It's not all Asperger's because it's defiant, like he's being defiant. And when you're defiant, there should be serious consequences that have to take place.
He'd be telling me, you need to stop him, you need to discipline him, put him to his room, that's what you need to do. And yet I knew that it was beyond that. I think it was very difficult for him to admit, you know, too, that his biological son also was going to have difficulties.
What's wrong, Ice?
Let's have a happy holiday. Children with autism. It's from exceptional parents. Scratch it and sniff it and see if that's it. When I started with Isaac, he had difficulty in doing things like brushing his teeth. He still sleeps on the floor. He can't stand sleeping on a bed. He has difficulty in things that happen in the day that we take for granted. So we're going outside, my mitts are wet, I wear a different pair, Isaac can lose it. So we have to come up with ideas that will help him strategize. If we don't, you get a child who gets very stuck and they tend to stay home and they won't go in the community and they won't go to school and they have no friends.
I made 3 snakes.
Every once in a while we'll get into a restraint with him because he's biting, scratching, hitting. Sometimes he will just, when he explodes, he'll explode and go under the table and scream for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, and then we'll settle and sleep.
When they found out that Isaac had Asperger's syndrome also, and a lot of attention was going to them, I kind of felt like not really left out, but ignored, kind of.
I probably don't think about Rebecca often enough in that sense, which I should, because it certainly affects the whole family.
I wish I could just melt down and have the attention that they do, instead of just being sent to my room.
But then I got grinding.
It's easy now, so boring.
I understand that he has Asperger's and that like his brain will like work differently from like others, so it's like quite easy to understand like if he has like a problem with his like feelings and emotions.
The first time I melted down in front of him, I was afraid that I was gonna lose friendship, but I didn't.
But it's like after he calms down, he's kind of okay.
He's a good friend.
In my house, he behaved, which made it look even more like lack of discipline at home.
I cannot have Isaac do the same things that Zach's doing, especially at this age. Like when he's walking around calling me a frickin' idiot, spitting in my face. Like, you don't spit in anybody's face.
I was thinking of a while ago, like a month ago or something, of going to my aunt's because it was getting too tense. It was just getting tense, and I felt I was making everyone's life miserable in a way.
He certainly has voiced the wish not to be in this world, and voiced the opinion that he feels the world would be better off without him, that we would be better off without him. He's had some self-injurious behaviors, such as cutting himself. How do I keep him safe from himself and his own self-esteem issues?
They do so much for me, my parents, but when I scream at them and I disrespect them, I'm just like, I'm throwing it back in their face, and I don't think they deserve that.
You're stressed, I'm stressed, you know, we work extra overtime, you know, you're helping the society, this and that, you know, something's got to give sooner or later. You just can't keep going on the way we're going. And, you know, it's almost like it's causing a problem between me and you. How many families have been split up because of their children? How many of those kids are in group homes? And are they getting the right help in group homes? Because the parents just can't handle it. You know, you're tired, I'm tired, you know, you deal more with them than I do. And, you know, I have to go to work. I have to go there, whether it be days, afternoons, or midnights. I still got to go there for 40 hours, you know?
Yes, hence my not being able to work outside the house. Which adds the extra problem of we don't have an extra income. Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, stop.
My feet are getting freezing.
Stop it.
Zach, she has to walk, sweetheart.
Oh.
It's okay. Just once you get down there on the ground, you won't hear it. Just go. You're okay. Go. Okay, you can't be stuck at the front door because you can't walk on the snow. Let's go. Come on. Okay, go. Run. On your mark, get set, go. It's okay. Just run it, Zach. Run it. As a single mother with 2 children, and certainly a child that has difficulties that haven't been pinpointed, you know, it was a difficult time. It was a really hard time. It was a hard time for me personally. I ended up in a depression at that point because I thought it was me as a parent. Everybody telling it's you as a parent, it's you as a parent, it's you as a parent. That's why you're having these difficulties. Even somebody who I really liked a lot, which was Charles, and wanted to see a future, couldn't see a future. Because how can you see a future when, you know, on every moment you're on eggshells because of afraid of what your kid's going to do that's going to drive this person away. When Zachary was diagnosed, I happened to mention to Dr. Sloman, by the way, he's really spinning a lot and I don't know what that's about. And he said, oh, he spins. Oh, okay, do this survey. And I just was reading, oh my God, yes, 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 yes. This is it. It fits. And the relief for me as a parent to think, finally, we have an answer for why he has such a difficult time. I have to run and get Isaac, which I would send Charlie, but he's already done enough errands. So. And then Isaac would be very upset that I didn't pick him up. That would throw everything off. How disturbing is that for a 4-year-old who's throwing up in school because somebody's eating a banana and the kids all think he's weird? And so that makes it difficult then for him to enjoy coming to school because he's not connecting with people. And he has a helper, like an aide, so that sets him apart as well. But he literally couldn't function without one. Izzy, come back.
I'm gonna play in the snow.
Buddy, how was school today?
Great.
Good stuff. Well, don't eat it, because that's gross. Like a bird might have pooped in there or something. Yeah, ooh, that's gross. Mind you don't slip. Charles, because he was just convinced totally that it was a discipline problem and that that's all we needed to do was be much firmer, much stronger. And so I would let him then be the disciplinarian. You deal with this situation, you deal with the behavior.
Excuse me, lady.
And myself sitting back watching him and almost secretly believing that, or hoping that, okay, it's going to work because it's going to come from a man, so they're going to listen to him, and it's, you know, I'm just too wishy-washy.
Yes, those kids needed some hard discipline, and I was the guy that was going to straighten them out, and I couldn't straighten them out.
Oh, that was my spin.
Yes, it finally works.
That was my spin. Ow! I hate that freaking monster. Ah!
Hey.
One day I was here and he came downstairs 19 times and did a handstand, which he was told each time, that's not acceptable, go to your room. And he came right back downstairs and did it again. And when you watch that, you really do think, this kid is really out of control. He's not listening. He needs a good, I don't believe in spanking, but he needs one. And then I realized after about the 15th time, he really didn't get what he was being sent upstairs for. He just didn't get it, that it wasn't acceptable to do that in the house. But 19 times I counted. Then you start to get it. The adult starts to get it.
You can do everything you can to help them and try not to bring out those obsessions, but I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, but I do believe now that they definitely do have Asperger's, both of them. When we met this gentleman named Dr. Sloman, he says, well, you know, someone has to start a society and do something about it. And Margot was the one that picked up on it.
It's Margot Nellis calling from the Asperger's Society of Ontario. I got your message and I'm just returning your call. It's Monday at about 20 after 10. You were looking for assessment.
I guess it was about a year and a half ago, and I met all the adults, and I said, Margot said, you should come. And I said, oh, I'm dying to come. And she said, why is that? And I said, well, I just want to meet some more older Aspies and try and picture our boys in the future and how they would be.
Folks will look at my children and be told that they have Asperger's syndrome and will tell me, well, I don't see it. And then they'll look at an adult with Asperger's and be able to see something there, that they are sure that there's something a bit odd and they're not really sure what it is.
The friends you have now are probably the friends you gained or formed sometime in high school or in grade school even. I didn't make much of a splash in high school. I was a virtual, actually kind of a non-entity really. Although I did get a standing O at when I received my diploma, which was nice. The suspicious part of me thinks so they're just feeling sorry for me, humoring me.
When I first met one of them, he wanted to sit on my lap. I was a little taken back. Like, why would this gentleman want to sit on my lap? Like, he was probably a little younger than I am. I'm only 35, but why would this person be that fond of me that wanted to sit on my lap? And I didn't want to be rude to him, and I just thought, well, you know, he's just talking to me, he's nice, you know, but was determined to sit on my lap, and I didn't really feel that comfortable for the first time meeting all these people with Asperger's. I didn't know what to expect from them.
I shudder to think that my kids would end up in the same boat, but they won't end up there because I'll ensure that they get the proper treatment, and that's why I run the society, and that's why we push for best practice treatment and support and community awareness.
Let's see if I can get this.
My biggest worry is to offend anyone. I can say mean things and not even know it. That's the problem with this disability, because it limits my concept of what's right to say and what's not right to say. And I try to avoid any comments about like international news or anything political, you know. Oh, I say, how about those Leafs? You know?
The ideal thing for someone with Asperger's would to have a little Jiminy Cricket on their shoulder, going around with them all day, pointing out, no, that would have been inappropriate. You might want to say it this way.
It broke my heart to see that 32-year-old said, this is the first birthday party I've ever had in my whole life that people showed up. And it was Margot, myself, a few other adults with Asperger's, and it was a lot of their first times ever being at a party. And I felt, you know what, Paula, thanks very much for having us at your party. I'm really glad that we showed up. And he said, oh, you know, this has been the best day of my life. A 32-year-old telling you that, it broke my heart, I gotta tell you. Imagine that going through your life, all your life, and not having any friends, no one caring about you. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I don't want my kids to be like that. I want my kids to be able to socialize and have friends.
When I really think about taking my pills, it just disturbs me. I don't know why. Like, that just makes me really unnormal. I have to take pills to keep in my anger or not have anxiety. And anxiety, that's one of the worst parts because it's scary. It's really scary.
Before we found out about the Asperger's, I mean, one of his, the things that made him really sad and made him feel very different was that he could recognize that other kids were always going to Cubs or hockey or this or a friend's, and he was always off to a doctor or, a therapist of some sort, or, and that made him feel not normal in a big way. I think he's used to it now because we've obviously been going to some sort of therapist for certainly the last 9 years, if you can imagine. He used to go twice a week. Rebecca used to go once a week. I used to go once a week, and we all used to go for family once a week. So we were like the therapy family. No, because Isaac got angry and kicked it. Had a meltdown in the car, kicked it and broke it off.
It's our ghetto-mobile.
I'm meeting someone tomorrow named Rebecca. She lives on our street.
Oh, yeah.
And to work with you one-on-one.
Please, no.
I think this Rebecca will be good because she'll be able to help you get organized at school. That's it. That's all it's for.
I don't want to.
Yes, but remember you were very upset about not having those organizational skills?
Yeah, but I have them now.
Oh.
I was upset because I wasn't organized for one thing, not my whole schoolwork.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? It's all helpful. Like Uncle David says, if somebody offers you a glass of water, take it. You never know when you'll be in a desert, right? It's a good thing to get help.
Yeah, but you can just drink the cactus juice.
Could've said something to ease the pain. Just a few words would have made a happy home again. We were dancing